Lots of people like to know what is it that actually creates the value for a settlement of an injury claim or a trial verdict. There are essentially two different types of damages. That's losses that we're looking at, and damages is just the word for your losses. One is economic damages. At least that's the way that it's stated in Oregon and many of the other states in the country. Economic damages usually break into all of your financial losses, both past and future, for the loss that you've had. And so let's say that you have an injury and you have $50,000 in medical bills. Those would be considered past medical bills, and so that's one area of economic damages. We have to look and determine, are you going to need any future care? If so, we need to know from your doctors and potentially from a life care planner, how much is that future care going to cost, essentially. And we have to get reports sometimes about that, or we have to get a special person called a vocational rehabilitation specialist or a life care planner to look at that. When they do, they can come up with that analysis of what the future medical bills would be, and that's another entry in terms of the economic damages in the case. There's then past wage loss. Have you not been able to work for a certain period of time? In a less serious injury, you may be out of work for a day, 2 days, but in the more serious cases, you could be out weeks, months, or maybe never even return to work. And as a result of that, we have to know how much income have you lost in terms of the date of the accident to the date of the settlement or the date of the trial. That would be considered past wage loss. Future wage loss, or what's sometimes referred to as diminished earning capacity, would be a change in your ability to earn. Now, some people will ask, how is it that a housewife or a child or somebody who's maybe a young adult who's still in college would be able to determine future earning capacity? Those things can be assessed by an economist, and we will oftentimes hire an economist to determine what the replacement value of services are that somebody provided as someone who's staying at home raising children. We can estimate what somebody's earning capacity would be if they were a college student and obtained a certain level of education and then got injured and is no longer able to work in that circumstance. And in some cases, even smaller children. What would they have earned over the course of their lifetime if they had obtained a high school degree or a bachelor's degree? And the economists can actually figure these things out. And so those things are determined to be future earning capacity losses, diminished earning capacity losses, and those are things that we can take to the insurance company or the jury in order for them to look at it. There are some other things. You can lose scholarships. You can have a change in your insurance rates as a result of now being in what would be considered a high-risk pool because of your substantial injury. And we want to look at those losses overall and see what are all of the economic losses that are tied to a case. We also know that from U.S. government statistics that people with even non-severe disabilities after an injury, either cognitive or physical, they will result in an average of about 10 years of loss of work life expectancy for females that want to have children, and about 13 years of loss of work life expectancy for people that are either males or females that don't plan to have children. And so as a result of that, we have to look at what those financial losses are going to be. We also know that for the years that people can work after an injury where they're disabled, that they will earn approximately 33% less. And this is all based on U.S. government statistics. So we have our economists look at this type of information, bring this type of information to the jury or to the adjuster, and be able to say, this is the economic loss from this person's injury, both past and for the rest of their life if the injury is permanent. There's a completely different, separate type of damages, again, losses, that are called non-economic damages. And really, these are the most important ones for the person that's injured because they are pain, change in quality of life, mental suffering, humiliation, and other things that the state allows in terms of non-economic damages. In the public, people like to call this pain and suffering, but it really goes far beyond that, particularly for some of our clients who have brain injuries that may not be evident to anybody else, but now they can't remember things. They go out into public, they say things that maybe they shouldn't, they do things that they normally wouldn't, and there's a certain element of change of quality of life. They can't do the same things that they used to do, and now they're humiliated by their own conduct. And so those things can become part of our analysis in terms of non-economic damages or the personal losses that you sustain. So those two things together are what create what our settlement values end up being, what we're asking for from the insurance company, and they are also what we base our request for to the jury during a jury trial.